welcome to another Trimcraft Tuesday video. This week is scrapbooking with the Dovecraft Lost and Found collection, scrapping a picture of two of my nephews, not my nephews, two of them, I should say. I don't really have a lot to say about the picture, to be honest, because basically I kind of just shamelessly stole it from my sister's Facebook, so I don't really know necessarily the story behind it. They're just, you know, they've got their wellies on, they're on a little mission out in the countryside somewhere, woods, field, dunno, just on a little mission. Just thought, you know, it was a cute picture of my nephews, it would go with this collection. So yeah, not every picture has to have a, you know, amazingly meaningful story behind it. It can just be a picture that you really like. Anywho, that tree there that I was just playing with, that I found the tree on the Silhouette Cut store. It's just a random tree. I think it might be supposed to be a Christmas tree, but if I just didn't make it Christmassy, I thought I would get away with it. Anyway, the main paper I'm using is this grid paper one that's kind of got distressed in places and faded, and it's got the trees on, but I decided that this layout needed a border, just needed it, so I chose the tartan paper to do that. So I cut about slightly more than 1/4 of an inch, not quite, maybe 1/2 an inch, I'm not sure, off two sides of the main paper, so I'm going to have quite a decent amount of the border showing. And I also distressed the edges of my main paper, both physically with the distress tool and then with the distress oxide in frayed burlap. And then looking at the tree and the tree against that paper, I was like, tree doesn't quite stand out enough, so I decided to take the frayed burlap and go around the edges of the tree as well. And obviously it was quite hard to go around the edges of the tree because of the shape of it, so some of the ink just goes straight on top of the tree kind of thing, but that's not a problem. I like the way it looks. Then I decided to do some stitching. Well, I say then I decided. I kind of knew I was going to do stitching from when I started, but anyways, I'm just poking my holes in there. I'm not doing any complicated stitching, just a border around the edge. Those grid lines on the paper though made it so easy to do the holes kind of thing, because usually when I'm putting my holes in, like, you try and make them evenly spaced, but it can be a little bit impossible, and you guys know I am far too lazy to measure, but because the grid lines were there, yay! So there's very nice even holes on this layout, not something that happens often with me. But anyways, I am just stitching there with just a cream, just to kind of give it this nice rustic look. I just think stitching, I know I always say this with collections, like paper stitching really lends itself to this collection, but the Lost and Found collection in particular, paper stitching just goes really well. What can I say? So yeah, just had to do that. I just went, watched some Netflix as you do, and stitched around the whole edge of that, again in that cream embroidery silk. And yes, so this might be the next day, I'm not sure. I think my nails are slightly more chipped than they were. Just backing my photo with various papers from the collection, trying to use scraps up and stuff. I decided to have like 2 backings on the photo, you know, nicely cut ones, and then some ripped backings as well, just because I think, again, the ripped effect, because obviously this layout, because it's about boys and being out and about, there's sort of like this rustic kind of thing going on, so obviously ripped paper goes quite well with that. So yes, and obviously with the ripped paper as well, as you just saw, I've added the frayed burlap around the edges as well. I do that to a lot of things on this layout, I should tell you, just to, you know, tie it all in together, use the same or a similar ink if you're gonna, you know, be blending it around the edges kind of thing. Just nice, you know, keeps everything all tied in and blah 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 blah. Yes, proper scrapbooking words and all that kind of thing. Realised if I needed to put my photo down first, I needed to put my big tree down, so that's going down there. If you're interested in finding the tree, I literally typed tree into the Silhouette Cut store, and it was one of the first ones that came up that wasn't obviously a Christmas tree. So yeah, anyway, that's how I found that. Putting down my ripped pieces there, I wanted to include one of these little wooden hexagon frames because I really love them, and one of my new favourite things is having a bit of a frame sticking out from under a photo. I don't know why. I know it's not an original idea or anything like that, it's just a phase I'm going through at the moment. What can I say? When I'm using wood embellishments, I tend to use that glue that I just had in my hand there, the high-tack glue. It's also a slow drying glue. The brand is just poof gone out of my head. It's like it's a brown brassy bottle. It's not Anita's, I know that, it's another one, but yes, it's always in craft stores, just everywhere. I see it in every shop, so yes. Anyways, I added foam in certain places to the back of that photo, obviously, so it would lie flush against that frame. And then here I'm just going to do some second generation stamping up in the top right there. Second generation stamping, just on the off chance you don't know what it means, I'm sure you do. But it just means you stamp your image once elsewhere and then you stamp again with what ink is left on your stamp kind of thing. So you get a more faded, a more muted image kind of thing. And I thought that would look better on this layout. If I went for the first generation with that really strong black, it just wouldn't work so well, you know. This bit here was a totally random idea, and I didn't know if it was going to work or not, but I just put some washi on just some strips of cards I had left. I think that's actually what I cut off that original main piece of paper. And yeah, I just wanted to use the washi in the layout. What can I say? It's what I wanted to do. So I stuck it on the card because then you can, you know, you can see it better. If you put it straight on the layout, sometimes you can see through the washi a bit, and sometimes that's fine. That's what you want, but it's not what I wanted for this one. But yeah, just this random idea I had, and it kind of, I suppose we could call it the title. It's one of those layouts that doesn't necessarily have a title. It doesn't have a big obvious one. I've gone with calling it Wild and Free, but you could also call it Let's Get Lost or Explore, or, you know, whatever you like. So I put the long one with the Wild and Free up the edge there on the left, and then the Explore one, because it was going around the photo cluster, it looked like it needed to be backed with something, so I just chose another paper from the collection to use there. I don't know why it needed to be backed. My brain just told me that it did. And again, using the Distress Oxide around the edge with the blending tool, like so. Now from this point onwards, a lot of embellishing really, and it kind of came together really quickly at this stage. Like, this is one of those layouts, I didn't have it planned at all. Like, I knew I wanted to use my big tree and some stitching, but other than that, not a whole lot of plans. But I actually really like it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm really proud of this one. That bear and that little compass there, I can't remember if I've done that in a recent video, but all it is using Distress Oxide on some cardstock, you know, just blending it into the cardstock, using your water to make the oxidizing effect and stuff, then stamping the image on with some stays on, and then fussy cutting the image. I think I've done that in a video. I think it's one of the card making videos I've done that. So that's why I made loads so I could use them in future projects. So that's where those have come from. And then, yeah, on the stamp set, as again, obviously from the collection. Then I'm just adding my puffy stickers because I love them so much. Beforehand, I'd added the wooden arrow to the bottom of the picture. Just love those wooden arrows so much. I don't know what it is about them. I just love them. And yes, I have bought a second pack because I finished my first pack. But yes, puffy stickers going around there, various places. There's Happy Camper, and that one says Adventure. The deer says something about wild. I can't see it on my screen right now, but something about wild. And then I'm adding another Wild and Free here. I just put some foam squares on the back there because I've kind of having it up against the frame and I didn't want it to dip down. So that's why I put the foam squares there. So I've got another Wild and Free and then a little camera up there because I didn't like those two big things up the top left of the photo there by themselves. So just adding the camera just to balance it out a bit. And then I'm using these little buttons. Again, love these from the collection. Not usually a button girl, but these I've been loving. Maybe because they're mini. I don't know. But I'm just kind of using them as enamel dot kind of thing. Just, you know, little embellishments all over the place kind of thing. So just attaching those in random places with some glue dots. I say random, obviously I did probably think about it a little bit, but you know, you get the idea. And I have caught up with myself. It's a miracle, yes. As I say, I don't really know much about the picture in general. I just thought it was super, super cute of two of my little nephews there going on a little mission. I did think about maybe using a title and calling it On a Mission, but then I liked it how it was, kind of thing. At this stage, I was just like, the Wild and Free up the side there was just a little bit, I don't know, there was just something needed to happen there. So I've added some of that twine and just wrapped it around kind of thing. And I'm going to attach it at the back with washi. I always have a couple of rolls of washi lying around that I'm not too fussed about. And they're used for more mechanical things rather than decorative things. So I've just got sorted out my twine there. But I'm also going to attach it with a stapler. This is just a bog standard office stapler. It's not a proper tiny attacher or We Are Memory Keepers, whatnot. It's just a bog standard stapler. But yeah, and I do like the staples attached there as well. They kind of, I don't know, they kind of look cool. Here, I decided splatters were needed. Feels like a while since I've done splatters. It probably isn't. But anyways, this is Distress Stain in Tarnished Brass. And I just thought it would go with the layout quite nicely. It's, you know, it's brown and it goes well on that side. But obviously there's a little bit of shimmer to it as well. So splatters going on there. Just using the paper to make sure it doesn't go on my photo because disaster. And then I decided just needed something up the top left. So this little phrase sticker from my stash, I'm fairly sure it's an old Dovecraft, but I wouldn't quote me on it. I don't think I'll be able to link it anyway. Added the little bear stickers and then finishing off with some more of the little buttons as my sort of fake enamel dot kind of things around that thing that says go out and chase your dreams. And that, I believe, is it. So thank you so much, as per usual, for watching. Links to all the things that I can in the description box down below. Please leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Comment if you have anything to say or any questions. And please subscribe if you haven't already. And other than that, yes, okay, I'm finished. Thank you, as always, again. And okay, yeah, going. Bye-bye.